What's going on? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, trying to get you some daily information via YouTube. So I appreciate you checking me out. Click that like button. Please subscribe. Trying to grow. Let's grow together. Was going to talk about some Eagle stuff. Still am going to talk about some Eagle stuff. But got to give props to them fighting Phils. Ring that bell. We just took the first game against San Diego 2-1, or I'm sorry, 2-0. Had a little scare at the end. Stott screwed up a very easy double play to end the game, but threw it a little bit to the right, and we got nothing. But Dominguez came in, put him back to night, and that was the end of it. So had a little scare, but we're good to go. So we took one in San Diego. So we are ahead of the curve, right? So we can at least split, maybe take two. I think the second game's in San Diego too. So Bryce Harper, another bomb. The dude is just clutch, and keep doing what you're doing, bro. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But as far as the Eagles go, still on the high from this Eagles win. This is going to continue until next week, until we start getting ready for Pittsburgh. It's always a big deal when we beat the Cowboys. Always a big deal when we beat the Cowboys. I know sometimes it seems like the rivalry is with us more than it is with them. But we'll live, they'll live, and they took the L. So right now the rivalry is real because they took the L. And they can talk all of that Dak stuff to the cows come home. But we'll see when Dak gets back. Dak and the Cowboys are playing Detroit next week. I got a feeling Detroit has a chance to upset the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens with that. But Detroit is not a bad team. I know they're struggling. Detroit has a good defense. I haven't really been keeping up until, after we played them. But they played us hard and put points on the board. So I don't know if they quite have their act together. But from what I saw when they played us, Detroit has a good team. I don't know if you want to call them snake bitten or they just haven't quite put it together yet. And I think eventually they will. So hopefully they can put something together against Dallas. So we'll see. Watching film of the game, been watching since Monday. Been looking at clips, been looking at some film, finally got my all 22. And I'm going to go over some more things tomorrow. But as of right now, I just got a couple of notes I wanted to just run through. I wanted to say we need to work on our run defense, but that's not necessarily true. The more I thought about it, the more I looked at it. Our run defense is fine. What Dallas did was they schemed us pretty well. When they were running inside with Zeke, they were double teaming when Davis was in there or whoever was on the nose. And they were running off that double team. And they made good work out of it. Zeke Elliott is still no slouch. So you give that guy a little bit of room. And like I said, they game planned that. They made their adjustment. And it worked. So I look for other teams to do the same thing. That's the way it works. If one team has success, win or lose, if they have success on you doing a certain thing, all of the teams are going to watch that film. And they're going to mimic what was successful. So I look to see that same type of guard-to-guard inside run with the double team on the center, with the center and the guard. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, they were late in the game. They kept running that naked boot to death. That naked bootleg, Cooper Rush would stick that ball out. Everybody would flow. And what they did, they would drag that tight end over flat to the line of scrimmage. So he wasn't immediately in the pass pattern. It was almost like a delayed screen. How you would run a delayed screen. But instead of staying right at the line of scrimmage, he would sneak up about 5 to 8 yards right in that zone that was wide open because everybody bailed out. I wish that's one of the things. I wish that was one of the things that the Eagles would implement. But to do that, you got to run out of either pistol or you got to run out of a true ace formation, and Jalen needs to be under center. You can't run it out of gun. I would rather see them with a different look, other than always doing the RPO. Not that the RPO doesn't work, but now you have another concern that you got to worry about that we didn't have to worry about before. And that is if they decide to attack that RPO, this is what they're going to do. You hit the quarterback. Make him give up the ball. You hit the quarterback enough times, he's going to give up that ball every time. He don't want to take that hit. We don't want our quarterback to take that hit. So you got to give up the ball. That leaves everybody a chance to focus on the running back. What I don't want to happen is Jalen takes some BS hit and they get, concussion aggressive. You know what I mean? We got to worry about if somebody upstairs in the ref booth thinks it was a concussion, takes him out of the game, and now we're dealing with Gardner Minshew. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that situation. We got to keep Jalen out of harm's way because you don't know how they're going to call these plays now. You don't know. You just don't know how they're going to do it. So I don't want the Eagles to be a victim of that type of decision from somebody in the booth because they thought it looked like a hard hit or a concussion. No, I don't even want to entertain that thought. So let's keep Jalen out of harm's way. Run a true play action. And that'll open up passing lanes. That'll open up Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders had a good game. Miles Sanders takes a lot of criticism because he can make the cuts. He can make the jump cuts. But one thing I've been noticing is when he makes that jump cut, he makes the slight, very small cut left or right, and he gets right back north and south. Gets going. Not too much running outside. I know there was a couple of plays where he had to do that, but for the most part, when he's getting the ball and it's an inside run, if he has to make the cut in the interior, he is making that slight body movement and going north and south. And he's getting 6, 7, and 8 yards at a crack, and that's what we need out of him. I like the fact that they keep feeding him. I like the fact that they're not swapping the backs as much. They're still getting Gainwell in there. Boston Scott looked good running around, running that sweep. But they're not subbing Miles Sanders as much as they did last year. I like to see him as the number one back. I would like to see Trey Sermons in there to get a shot to spell him, give him a break every now and then. But it doesn't seem like with Boston Scott back, he's not going to see the field too much unless somebody gets hurt. And I don't know, everybody keeps throwing these rumors out here about how we're going to get CMC Christian McCaffrey. And I'm like, for what? What do we need Christian McCaffrey for? I would argue that Miles Sanders is a good running back as Christian McCaffrey. He might not be as good as a receiver as McCaffrey is, but Miles Sanders is catching the ball well this year. McCaffrey is definitely a better receiver, but are we going to just all of a sudden change our offense and start throwing to the running backs a lot more often? Because if we got McCaffrey and we started doing that, we could have done that with Gainwell or Miles Sanders the way he's going this year. We could have done that. We could do that now. So don't change up thinking that we need somebody else. Our roster is just fine, especially at running back. Miles is still, I believe he's still right above 4 yards a carry. That's where you need to be. 3.9, I think he might be. But you're right at that cusp of where you need to be. And if it wasn't for a couple of plays against the Cowboys, a couple of missed blocks on the offensive line, he would still be up there. So he'll get that back next week or 2 weeks from now when we go to Pittsburgh. I don't know if Pittsburgh is here Or hold on, let me check the schedule. Check the schedule. Pittsburgh is here. Pittsburgh comes to Philadelphia, so that'll be another good game. But but yeah, I don't think we need that CMC help. That's just my opinion. Driscoll got to get in the film room. Got to look at the things that he did wrong. His technique. Micah Parsons was killing him in the second half. On pass rush, run blocking, he's okay. Pass blocking needed a little bit of work. I don't know if just being on that right side is not his good side, because when he backed up Mailata, when Mailata got hurt, he was fine. He did a good job. Maybe the right is not his good side. Maybe we need to put Dillard back over there to back up Lane. I don't know. But Micah Parsons was getting the best of him for sure. Third and fourth quarter, I think one way we can, I guess, get more points in that third and fourth quarter would start running the ball earlier. We shouldn't have to wait until we absolutely need a drive. And that's one of the things that is confusing and frustrating about the plan that they're putting together. You don't have to wait until the fourth quarter to put together a drive. You already know what's working running the ball. Keep doing it. Run it till they stop it. The same way they kept running that naked boot on us, we should have kept running that inside trap on them, but we should have been doing it in the third quarter. If we can do it then, we could have done it earlier. But you just got to commit to it. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. It seems like we wait until it's a situation we got to have a drive. Okay, let's do what we do best. You shouldn't have to wait for that. If smash mouth football, running the ball is what we do best, do it. You'll still have the opportunity to get the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But right now, if we can smash with our offensive line and our running backs, let's do that. And while we're doing that, we're keeping Jalen out of harm's way. That makes sense to me. I don't want to find out the hard way. We do have a problem, not a problem. We have to get better on special teams. Point blank, period. I called it that Kevontae Turpin was going to be a problem. That kid was doing it. Don't kick the ball to that dude. That's bad for business. Bad for business. So, whatever they got to look at, just our special teams is just not, our special teams is average at best. When you're coming up against a good returner. And that kid's a very good returner. I would argue that he's probably the best punt return, kick returner in the league right now. I'd have to look at the stats to find out who's better. But as far as instilling fear that he could go all the way, the only reason he didn't score on that kick return was because he ran into his own man. That should have been a touchdown. And I guarantee you the Cowboys are looking at that film like we should have scored on that play. They left 2 touchdowns on the field. That touchdown, or that interception by Gardner Johnson because of Brandon Graham's hit on Cooper Rush. CeeDee Lamb was wide ass open. Wide open. So props to BG on that one because he saved another one. And then that kick return. So yeah, they left some points on the board too. We always talk about after the game what we can do to get better. I heard that a lot about from the Dallas camp, what the mistakes they made, leaving points and opportunities on the field. That happens every game. Every game. Nobody plays a 100% game. Nobody plays a perfect game. A perfect game just means everybody takes advantage of the opportunities that they get. But those opportunities don't always they don't happen at the same time, and it just doesn't happen. So we'll see how we can get better at that going forward, but our special teams have got to be better. period. Especially when you got a good returner. Kick the ball out of bounds. That's very easy to do. Everybody's talking about it's going to be a much different game in Christmas, on the Christmas Eve game. Yes, it will. Dak will be back, assuming he will be playing. You don't know. Health is the issue. So all it takes is somebody to whack that hand one time. And rest assured, the Detroit Lions will be coming and swatting that ball away. They will test that grip. I'm expecting to see Hutchinson and Charles Harris put the pressure on Dak Prescott. So we'll see what's going on. I'm gonna have some more film study later on during the week. I'm gonna be doing all my film study on this YouTube channel now. I'm not gonna do that on the A2D on my Thursday show. On Pro Fan Talk on Thursdays on A2D Radio. I'm not gonna be doing too much film study there because YouTube and the copyright stuff get a little weird. So I don't want to put them in danger of catching a copyright strike or something because I was watching film. So I'm gonna do that on my Pro Fan Talk YouTube channel, and you'll see some stuff there. I got some other stuff that I'm working on. Hopefully that'll be pretty cool. So hopefully, guys, you'll stay with me. And like I said, we can make this thing grow. So again, please subscribe, hit that like button, man, so I can hit them algorithms, and let's keep it moving, man. Go Birds.